Little is known about my childhood, not even my true name. I was blessed with advantageous genes for intelligence, inherited from my enigmatic parents. However, my life took a drastic turn when agents of Dr. Willie Spencer abducted me from my family at a tender age. Under the auspices of the Spencer Foundation, I was raised in a series of meticulously financed homes, a crucial element of their ambitious eugenics project. The primary objective of this endeavor was to cultivate a select group of exceptional minds, individuals who shared Spencer's vision and could be subjected to a modified, stabilized strain of the progenitor virus. These chosen few would gain superhuman abilities, becoming the vanguards of a new era. Curiously, all of us were christened Wesker in honor of the project's enigmatic leader. Our upbringing was designed to instill Spencer's ideology within us, fueling our collective disdain for war and disease. We perceived humanity as a stagnant species, a dead end in the grand tapestry of evolution, desperately yearning for structure, redemption, and rebirth. Even among my fellow Weskers, I stood out due to my unyielding ambition in pursuing these ideals. Thanks to the boundless resources of the Spencer Foundation, I received the finest education available. With unrivaled determination, I accelerated through university and obtained my doctorate in virology at a mere 17 years of age. I was headhunted by the Spencer Foundation due to my exceptional grades, leading to my recruitment by Umbrella Pharmaceuticals in 1977. Umbrella had a sinister plan to indoctrinate me and other child prodigies. I was sent to the Umbrella Executive Training Center, a boarding school created specifically to mold us into aggressive and inhuman individuals, essential for advancing Umbrella's viral weapons research. In 1978, the deputy director criticized the entire class for their lackluster performance, except for me and a brilliant 16-year-old named William Birkin. Birkin possessed both talent and a ruthless character that made him a valuable asset to the company. Dr. James Marcus, one of the co-founders of Umbrella Pharmaceuticals and the director of the training center, took a keen interest in both Birkin and me and gained our trust. As a result of various company scandals that were covered up, the training school was shut down at the end of the year. However, Birkin and I were rewarded for our actions, receiving immediate job offers and transfers to the nearby Arclay laboratory as senior researchers. What remained secret was that our reward was in recognition of our successful theft of a sample of Marcus's completed T-virus strain. My involvement in the T-virus project commenced right after joining the Arclay laboratory. Umbrella was considering officially developing viral weaponry based on Ebola as part of a vaccination program. Birkin and I successfully spliced genes from Ebola onto the stolen T-virus strain. The result was an altered virus that could bypass the immune system more effectively, increasing the chances of infected humans surviving and transforming into zombies. This deviation from Spencer's original idea of the T-virus as a killing tool opened up new avenues for future research. While the T-virus project progressed, Umbrella began pressuring Birkin and me to come up with further groundbreaking research. In 1988, Dr. Spencer ordered the assassination of Dr. Marcus, and Birkin and I attended the assassination to retrieve 10 years of valuable research data that Marcus had kept to himself. The next phase, the Tyrant Project, aimed to create enhanced virus weapons. However, due to the limitations of the existing virus, which only produced advantageous mutations in individuals with specific intelligence-regulating genes, a statistical rarity of 1 in 10 million, progress was hindered until a new virus strain could be engineered to simplify the creation of tyrant prototypes through cloning. To circumvent this obstacle, Birkin and I sought Dr. Spencer's assistance in obtaining an intelligent bioorganic weapon, parasite developed by Umbrella Europe. This parasite, known as Nemesis Alpha, had the potential to solve the problem by taking control of a bioorganic weapon's body and following complex instructions. we implanted the parasite into a mutant human test subject named Lisa Trevor to observe its behavior. When Trevor's immune system destroyed the parasite, it led to the discovery of the Golgotha virus. Following this incident, Birkin was transferred to Nest while I, bewildered by Spencer's motives in approving and funding Golgotha, decided to leave the laboratory behind and join Umbrella's intelligence bureau in search of answers. During the 1990s, I managed to secure employment with other organizations by presenting myself as a former Umbrella employee. Starting around 1991, I served in the U.S. Army, where I was recruited for their illegal bioweapons project, unbeknownst to the military. It was during this time that I engaged in a brief sexual relationship with a Serbian woman named Muller, an immigrant from Macedonia. However, I lost interest in her soon after, unaware that she was carrying my child. In 1996, Umbrella assigned me to serve in S.T.A.R.S, the Special Tactics and Rescue Service, a privately funded police special forces unit in Raccoon City. Functioning as Umbrella's private army, S.T.A.R.S was ostensibly established to combat the growing threat of domestic terrorism in the heartland of America. It also provided Umbrella with direct influence within the Raccoon Police Department, should any investigation come too close for comfort. Within S.T.A.R.S, I was appointed captain of the Alpha Team. In the spring and summer of 1998, Raccoon City was plunged into chaos, shaking Umbrella to its core. It all started when the dreaded Epsilon strain infected numerous personnel at the Arclay laboratory in May. As panic set in, the staff was quarantined while guards prepared to take extreme measures by shooting anyone attempting to escape. Recognizing the gravity of the situation, Birkin and I personally rushed to the lab in response to the alarm. Our mission was clear: evacuate the vital cloned embryos of the T-002 Tyrant, a prized asset of Umbrella. Furthermore, I issued strict orders to cut off all communication, ensuring that vital information would not be disseminated. However, despite our efforts, the situation spiraled out of control. Cerberus BOWs managed to break free from their cages, terrorizing innocent civilians in Raccoon Forest. Infected survivors unleashed their newfound aggression, causing a wave of killings that surpassed 20 victims by July. The Raccoon Police Department, attributing the atrocities to a cult, faced mounting pressure from the media and a lack of leads. Faced with no other options, they reluctantly handed the case over to S.T.A.R.S, our elite unit. It became clear to Umbrella that the time for covert manipulation had passed, and a new plan, code-named Beck's Day, was put into motion. Under the orders of Umbrella HQ, I was tasked with a series of objectives during this critical mission. First and foremost, I had to sacrifice the S.T.A.R.S members, utilizing them as bait for the mutants to gather combat data and eliminate any witnesses. Secondly, I was to secure the remaining BOW embryos, safeguarding Umbrella's investments. Lastly, I had to obliterate the Arclay laboratory, leaving no trace of the insidious virus. On the 23rd of July, I ensured that Bravo Team's helicopter would be crippled, stranding them and necessitating further investigation by Alpha Team. Amidst the preparations for S.T.A.R.S involvement, Birkin and I were burdened with additional responsibilities within the company. We were to oversee the reopening of the executive training school, perhaps an attempt to compensate for the loss of the Arclay laboratory. However, fate had other plans in store for us. A savage assault by a newly formed mutant leech colony decimated 2 armed investigation teams and infected the passengers aboard a private train en route to the school. To prevent the outbreak from spreading, Birkin and I made the difficult decision to annihilate the training school. It was during this chaotic ordeal that I unexpectedly encountered Colonel Sergei Vladimir, the executive overseeing the UBCS, after Umbrella HQ took notice of the incident. Despite narrowly escaping the facility's destruction, the events of that night crystallized my conviction that abandoning Umbrella was now imperative. Seizing the opportunity for a fresh start, I accepted an offer of employment from a rival corporation. In return for providing them with the precious embryo samples instead of handing them over to Umbrella, I would align myself with this new force. With each step, I moved closer to my ultimate goal of power and domination. Umbrella's betrayal had set me free, and I was determined to rise above their crumbling empire. On the evening of July 24th, I led Alpha Team into the mountains, fully aware of what awaited us. To increase my chances of survival, I was entrusted with a remarkable mutant T-virus strain, specifically designed to enhance my strength and ability to regenerate. In order to secure the cooperation of Barry Burden, I resorted to manipulating his emotions, feigning a non-existent threat to his family's safety. This coerced him into assisting me with the retrieval or elimination of any incriminating evidence. Our initial destination was Bravo Team's helicopter site, where we made a grim discovery: the lifeless body of our PD pilot Kevin Dooley. It was at this moment that chaos erupted as the savage Cerberus pack attacked, leaving Joseph Frost dead and causing pilot Brad Vickers to cowardly desert our ranks. Faced with imminent danger, we sought refuge within the nearby Spencer mansion. Once inside, I took the initiative to divide our forces into separate groups, each assigned a specific mission to fulfill. It was during this fateful night that I stumbled upon the shocking truth: Captain Enrico Marini was not only alive but also possessed damning evidence against Umbrella. Without hesitation, I eliminated this threat by ruthlessly executing him in the underground tunnels before making my escape. Within the confines of the laboratory, I meticulously made preparations for the awakening of the tyrant, whose sole purpose was to eliminate any surviving members of the S.T.A.R.S unit. Just moments before the ritual, I subjected myself to the mutant virus strain, enhancing my own capabilities. However, my comrades eventually cornered me in the chamber, and I was forced to confess my involvement in Umbrella's insidious conspiracy. In a desperate act, I commanded the tyrant to attack them. Yet, to my surprise, T-00 recognized me as a participant in the tyrant project, striking me first by impaling my chest with its lethal strike. Nonetheless, my injuries were not enough to vanquish me. The virus coursing through my veins had transformed me, granting me extraordinary regenerative powers. I awakened in an empty room, bewildered yet filled with newfound vitality. Trapped within the confines of the mansion, the self-destruct system had been prematurely activated, and my access to vital data was restricted by the formidable Colonel Vladimir in the Red Queen AI. Hindered by these circumstances, I failed to recover the precious embryos or any valuable information to present to Umbrella's rival corporation. Nevertheless, I narrowly escaped the mansion's destruction, engaging in a perilous battle against the relentless Lisa Trevor. My augmented speed proved instrumental in ensuring my survival. Umbrella, as well as the S.T.A.R.S unit, believed me to be dead, granting me the opportunity to secure a position within the company despite my inability to deliver the coveted samples. Maintaining the charade of my demise, I shunned any public appearances, opting instead to operate as the intermediary between the organization and its covert operatives. With the completion of Golgotha by Dr. Birkin, our organization devised a plan to pilfer this coveted creation. My role involved acting as an external contact, facilitating communication between our group and our spy, Ada Wong. The other liaison, stationed at the Apollon, fulfilled the same purpose. However, as the T-virus outbreak hindered Wong's investigation, the liaison took his own life to evade the gruesome fate of becoming a mindless zombie. Seizing the opportunity, I seamlessly assumed his role through a computer interface, eagerly anticipating Wong's arrival on the fateful date of October 1st. Upon confirming the successful retrieval of a Golgotha sample, I guided her towards an Umbrella helicopter transporting Colonel Vladimir and an executive out of the city. Wong cleverly hitched a ride on that chopper, escaping the imminent destruction unleashed upon the metropolis. With the acquisition of Golgotha accomplished, Our organization wasted no time dispatching our formidable paramilitary force, HCF, on daring raids to Umbrella's bases. These missions aimed to secure invaluable data and bioweapon samples. In December 1998, it was my turn to lead a raid, targeting Rockfort Island. Recalling the remarkable research conducted by Alexia Ashford on the T. Veronica virus, the island owned by the Ashford family presented itself as a logical starting point for our search. Prior to the main assault, our saboteurs infiltrated the island and strategically planted explosives within the military training center. The detonation not only unleashed a lethal T-virus strain into the environment but also set free a horde of bioorganic weapons. The ensuing chaos caused extensive damage to the island's infrastructure as our aircraft mercilessly bombed it, leaving nothing but ruins in their wake. Specialized teams, under my direct command, scoured the island in search of the elusive T. Veronica samples. Alas, our efforts proved fruitless in locating them. However, during this operation, I made a discovery. Claire Redfield, the younger sister of Chris Redfield, had been captured by Umbrella and imprisoned in their sinister concentration camp. Chris himself arrived on the island the following day, desperately seeking his sister's liberation. Twice, just as I was on the verge of ending their lives, unforeseen interruptions disrupted my plans. Frustrated yet determined, I departed the island aboard a submarine, having learned that Alexia Ashford was alive and thriving at Umbrella's Antarctic base. The facility succumbed to a devastating T-virus outbreak when refugees from Rockfort Island sought refuge there. However, my team managed to infiltrate the facility through a submarine pen. As I found myself in an underground mansion, I came face to face with Alexia for the first time. I demanded that she surrender herself to provide me with a sample, but she defiantly refused. To my surprise, she began undergoing a powerful transformation that caught me off guard. I had no choice but to escape the mansion, leaving her behind. Shortly thereafter, the HCF stumbled upon the lifeless body of Steve Burnside, a teenager who had recently been subjected to Alexia's T. Veronica experiment. Together, we made our way back to the submarine. Finally, I discovered Chris and Claire in Antarctica, presenting the perfect opportunity to eliminate both of them. Initially, I took Claire hostage and forcefully brought her aboard the submarine. However, she managed to convince me to let her go by promising me a confrontation with Chris. Although I effortlessly dominated Chris in our battle, he managed to outsmart me by causing metal girders to fall on top of me. My skin was burnt by a fierce fire, and with the facility on the brink of destruction, I had no choice but to retreat and make my way to the submarine. With our organization now in possession of the highly coveted Golgotha, the T. Veronica virus, we began producing modified clones of various Umbrella OWs. In the midst of Umbrella's gradual collapse, I assumed a more influential role, overseeing the sale of these bioweapons to interested parties. By August 2002, I was engaged in negotiations with Javier Hidalgo, the notorious drug lord in charge of the Sacred Snakes cartel. Having been an Umbrella customer for over a decade, Hidalgo started to suspect foul play as the prices of our weapons surged due to the Russian production plant. I managed to manipulate him into ceasing his purchases from Umbrella, convincing him that an Asian broker who had been seeking information from him was, in fact, an Umbrella agent investigating him. Not long after the transaction involving the sale of T. Veronica, Hidalgo's daughter ran away, sending him into a violent rage. This unleashed a viral outbreak as his zombie army and bioorganic weapons ravaged nearby communities. From a cliff, I observed the U.S. government's anti-Umbrella pursuit and investigation team, who were investigating the Asian broker, as they were forced to combat the biohazard and ultimately eliminate Hidalgo. During this chaos, I was sought out by Jack Krauser, an American soldier who had been wounded during the mission and subsequently discharged from active service. He believed that I could provide him with a new sense of purpose in life. To secure his loyalty, I orchestrated my own death in a staged accident, ensuring my disappearance and allowing Krauser to serve as a trusted agent under my command. In the early days of 2003, the organization caught wind of some highly unusual occurrences in the Caucasus region. It became evident to us that a biohazard was at play, and our attention shifted towards Umbrella's covert Russian base nestled within those very same grounds. Eager to uncover the truth, I embarked on a journey to this remote location with the sole purpose of obtaining the supercomputer stolen by Colonel Vladimir all those years ago during Alpha Team's ill-fated mission at the Spencer Mansion. Venturing into a nearby village, which had succumbed to the outbreak, I discovered that the Hunter Delta bioorganic weapons, entrusted to them in exchange for their loyalty, had managed to break free from their confines. Amidst my quest for valuable research data, fate led me to a chance encounter with Chris Redfield and Valentine. They, too, had become aware of the dire situation in Russia and had joined an anti-biohazard unit. Pressed for time, I reluctantly spared their lives, swiftly securing the data and departing from their presence. Arriving at the Umbrella base just as the outbreak had almost entirely consumed it, I found Colonel Vladimir to be one of the few remaining uninfected personnel. While I managed to infiltrate the facility before the anti-biohazard first could arrive, my progress was impeded by Colonel Vladimir's loyal Ivan bodyguards. I had no choice but to eliminate them in order to advance further. Eventually, I reached the control center, where Colonel Vladimir oversaw the battle between the formidable Talos and Redfield, along with Valentine. Refusing to forsake his allegiance to the sinking ship, Colonel Vladimir injected himself with a perfected strain of the T-virus, matching my own abilities, in a desperate attempt to engage me in a duel for control over the supercomputer. Unfortunately for him, he proved to be no match for my superior skills, and I emerged victorious. Seizing the opportunity, I swiftly downloaded the complete data from the supercomputer, the treasured Umbrella archives, before issuing an order to Red Queen to erase all remnants of information stored on their server. By doing so, I effectively prevented my former S.T.A.R.S comrades from accessing any incriminating evidence against Umbrella. Soon after our triumphant raid, I decided to share the archives, or at least selected excerpts from it, with the United States government. This action proved to be a decisive blow against Umbrella USA, as it finally exposed them as the malevolent creators of the virus that plagued Raccoon City. Locked in a fierce legal battle with the corporation over the extensive damages caused by the city's destruction, the revelation within the provided excerpts served as undeniable proof, leading to a verdict that required Umbrella Pharmaceuticals to compensate the victims. Consequently, the financial burden proved too immense for Umbrella Pharmaceuticals to bear, ultimately forcing them to declare bankruptcy. With the aim of seeking justice, the United States and Russian Federation joined forces, collaborating closely to trace the whereabouts of Dr. Spencer, the elusive mastermind behind Umbrella's nefarious schemes. Within months of our raid on the Caucasus laboratory, I discovered the perfect resource in the Umbrella archives, Excella Gion. She was a geneticist working for Tricell, sharing my disdain for those who served no purpose beyond their work. I provided Gion with extensive information about the T-virus project, propelling her career to new heights. As a result, Tricell's bioweapons development project flourished, and she ascended to the position of CEO of Tricell, Africa, effectively becoming the chief architect of bioweapons development. Gion and I became close business partners. She proved to be a trustworthy ally who understood my need for a specific medicine. Although she harbored a sexual attraction towards me, I did not reciprocate those feelings. Our business meetings caught the attention of the organization in mid-2004. While I supervised their attempts to acquire a plague parasite from Los Illuminados, Wong received secret instructions to provide me with a sample of the recessive subspecies, while keeping any dominant subspecies for the organization. My original plan was to deliver the dominant subspecies to Tricell. Nevertheless, I managed to obtain the desired sample from the remains of Krauser's corpse, despite his parasitic state. Through our connection with Irving, Dr. Lord Spencer, who was on the brink of death, became aware of our endeavors. Spencer used Irving as a go-between to arrange my visit to the Spencer estate. It was there that I learned about the Wesker project, finally providing answers to the questions that had haunted me since my time at Umbrella. I was oblivious to the fact that the BOW research project had been a guise to gather data for a eugenics program. Realizing that Oswell Spencer had no further value, I swiftly ended his life with a lethal blow to the chest. However, my moment of triumph was abruptly interrupted by Chris Redfield and Jill Valentine, now working for the BSA. They arrived at the Spencer estate to apprehend Dr. Lord Spencer. In the ensuing confrontation, a fierce battle ensued, and both Valentine and I plummeted through a window, descending into the depths of a cliff. I survived the fall into the Atlantic, carrying an unconscious Valentine with me. As I looked back on my encounters with resistance and the revelation of my true identity, the Uroboros project took shape. Its goal was to create a virus capable of eradicating organizations like the BSAA and transforming individuals with specific genetic traits into superhuman beings. Valentine remained in a state of suspended animation at Tricell's facility, serving as one of the thousands of unfortunate test subjects abducted over the next 2 years. However, further analysis revealed that she possessed virus antibodies, rendering her an unsuitable candidate. Instead of eliminating her, I decided to subject her to regular injections of performance-enhancing drugs, forcefully recruiting her as one of my unwilling agents. Over the course of the next 2 years, our endeavors at the Tricell facility continued to expand. Our focus shifted towards the creation of missiles with the capacity to unleash Uroboros into the troposphere. I managed to acquire a stealth bomber from an undisclosed source, envisioning the day when I would ascend into the skies and spread the virus across the globe, imposing either death or evolution upon all of humanity. Despite running a tight ship alongside Gion, leaks still plagued our operations at the Tricell facility. Even though we executed the research staff upon reaching the final stages of Uroboros research, rumors began to circulate, catching the attention of the BSA. They caught wind of a doomsday project called Uroboros and questioned whether Valentine was truly deceased. However, they lacked any concrete evidence to substantiate their suspicions. In March of 2009, the BSA deployed its forces to the nearby city of Kijuju with the intention of apprehending Irving. He had become entangled in a local uprising linked to suspected bioweapons associations. Redfield and his partner, Chevalimar, embarked on a mission to eliminate Irving, and they succeeded in doing so. As Irving faced his imminent demise, he offered valuable information and divulged the location of the cavern. It was there that Redfield and Alamar unexpectedly encountered Gion, Valentine, and myself. Despite this setback, I remained unwavering in my determination to adhere to our plans. Gion and I swiftly departed for a Tricell tanker, which concealed the stealth bomber. However, our intentions were disrupted when we discovered that the two BSAA agents had managed to board the vessel as well. As a diversion, I infected Gion herself with Uroboros, causing her to undergo a grotesque mutation, resulting in massive destruction aboard the tanker. News of my dependency on a certain medicine had reached the ears of my adversaries. During the preparations for the stealth bomber's launch, they confronted me, administering an overdose of PG-67A/W. Although weakened, I remained a formidable threat. Taking off in the bomber, I engaged in a fierce battle with the two BSAA agents who had infiltrated the aircraft. However, when the rear hatch swung open, A gunshot wound sent me hurtling towards the ground. I made a desperate attempt to take Alamar down with me, but fate intervened, and I plummeted to the earth below. Despite the imminent destruction of the plummeting stealth bomber, I survived the fall, landing near a menacing volcano. Realizing that the Uroboros project was now in ruins, I chose to embrace the virus, destroying one of the missiles and infecting myself. The ensuing confrontation across the volcanic terrain reached its climactic end when a BSAA helicopter swooped in to rescue Redfield and Alamar. They skillfully employed RPGs to orchestrate an explosion that engulfed me in the scorching lava, ensuring my ultimate demise.